Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome to another video. This was supposed to be a one product review video. And then I sat down at my desk and realized I had a bunch of stuff that I either haven't reviewed at all or that I need to catch y'all up on. So that is the agenda for today. It is currently raining cats and dogs outside. So my lighting might change, but we'll deal with it. Okay. Anyway, so let me start with the biggie and we'll move on from there. The product that this video was going to be about solely is the Rituel de Fille Creator Concealer. I got this in the shade Potion 120 Light for Neutral Skin, which is about my undertone. When I first swatched it, I thought it was a bit too dark because it shows up dark on my hand. But once I actually put it on my under eyes, blended it out, it's a decent shade match. I do find myself preferring this used under my makeup. It's a little thick. You can see right there in the swatch, it does not go very far. It really doesn't. And this light neutral is actually far more peach than it is actually neutral. When I first started using this, I absolutely loved it. I was like, oh my goodness, it's thick, but it lays beautifully on my under eyes. It doesn't look creepy or crunchy. Boy, was I wrong. If you have dry under eyes, if your eyes go through a cycle of being dried out and then they get plump again, whatever your skincare is, if your eyes are dry, I know that for me, if my eyes are dry, it makes my under eyes look awful. No amount of eye cream will fix that. But that is something to discuss with your eye doctor and not with me. Going back to the concealer, if my under eyes were at all challenged, this just looked terrible. I will say, when everything was prepped well, when my under eyes were prepped well, this laid really nicely. It even took powder beautifully. I'm not a heavy powder user. I usually don't even bother, but I wanted to put this through its paces. I tested it with all of my foundations, which are the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, which I'm wearing today, the Monica Blunder Blender Cover, the Fenty Eavesdrop, and the Salt New York Sneaky Ball. So those are the 4 products I tested it with, and it got along with all of them. It didn't really fight or argue, and I think part of that is because my base products, my foundations, all have a lot of moisture to them. They all have either a balm consistency or they have a very hydrating formula. I don't know how this would look under something matte or much drier in texture. Throughout the day, it looks great. Like, I had very few complaints. If it's gonna look like garbage, it's gonna look like garbage when you first put it on, and it's just gonna stay that way. That being said, I think this has a lot of promise. I just don't think that this is the final incarnation of this product. It needs to be rethought. It needs to be retooled. It needs more emollients and a little bit of a thinner formula. However, I do like how nicely pigmented it is. It covers my melasma without complaining. And you don't need all that much. It doesn't spread very far, but depending on how large the coverage area is, this should be able to cover nicely. It's even covering the redness on my nose today, which was Rudolph level when I woke up this morning. So overall, I think I like this. I'm going to finish it. I will be interested to see what Rituel de Fille does with the feedback that they get from this concealer. All right, moving along. While we're talking about things that are new and that I haven't reviewed yet, let's talk about these 4 products from Merit, because I did do an unboxing and I did a first impressions, but I haven't really followed up. And I have been using the dickens out of these. Let's talk about this blush first. This is in the shade Beverly Hills and it says it's a dusty peach. I can attest to that. It's a very middle of the road beigey nude. It's beautiful. But this is the big but. It's got a lot of tenacity to it. So it says it's a balm, but it's got a lot of grip. So unlike other balms, when you put it on, you can actually feel it not really spreading very far. It does not like to be layered. If you put anything powder over this, you are going to disturb the entire base of your makeup. And it took me several times of messing with it to realize that this was the culprit. This was what was causing it. So if you're going to use this, I suggest it be either the top layer to a cream face or the only thing on a cream face. I would not advise mixing this with powder, but I really do like the formula. Comparing this to the other products in front of me, the packaging does not feel super luxe. It feels kind of cheap. It feels like there's a lot of wasted space in there. I don't know if all of the product is sitting on top, but I don't love this component. That, and with the clear lid, I lose this lid. It's slightly sepia toned, but on my desk, I lose it. So overall, I really enjoy this, but it has to be used cautiously. The same can be said for the Day Glow Highlighter Balm. This is, again, it doesn't have the same grip that the blush does. It's much more oily, it's much more emollient, but it still doesn't like going on top of powders or under them. It just turns everything all sludgy and no, it doesn't work. However, I have taken to using this on top of the Ritual Defeat concealer when it starts looking dry and crunchy, and it just re-illuminates everything. It gives it a dose of hydration, it gives it a dose of shine, and it really can help bring that product back to life. So this is an interesting one. I love the color. It's about my skin tone, maybe a little bit more on the peach side, and that's fine. I don't mind a slightly colored highlight. I actually prefer it to one that's like blindingly white. I prefer something a little more subtle, and this is beautiful. I'm interested to play with this over the summer and see how it reacts in the heat and in the sweat and in the humidity. All right, lip products. I got 2 of their lip products. I got the Merit Lip Oil in the shade Jeté. This is probably my favorite of the 4 products that I got. It's got this beautiful, just light ballet pink finish. It's really thin. It's really glossy. It's very hydrating. You can feel it soak into the lips and hydrate, but it also stays on top with the color, and it doesn't like to wear away that easily. I have noticed that this stays put for a considerable amount of time. Now, if you are eating, drinking, talking, that is going to affect the wear time. And the same can be said for the lipstick. So this is one of their new signature matte lipsticks in the shade Court. I'm wearing it today. It's lovely. Beautiful color. The texture is just, it's a velvet texture. It doesn't feel skippy. It's really smooth. It sinks into the lips and mostly stays put. Now, the beef I have with this, it's so drying. If you put this on without having a gloss or any kind of hydrating balm underneath, this is just going to sink into all of your lip lines and it's going to be really uncomfortable. I have taken to using a lip oil underneath and putting it on when I start my makeup. And by the time I'm ready to actually put on my lipstick, my lips are adequately hydrated. So I know that my lipstick will last and will not dry my lips out to the point where it feels like I'm in the desert and I really need water. It does feel very nice to actually put on. It feels very fancy. The twist up bullet is just so elegant. It has the word merit stamped right in the middle of the bullet. And I do really love the square packaging. I get so tired of lipsticks rolling everywhere. I like the square packaging. It makes it very easily identifiable. And I have to say, the Merit logo that's stamped in the bottom looks like a cross between the Valentino and the Mazda logo, the old Mazda logo. One thing I did want to do with this lipstick is talk about comparables. I don't want to use the term dupe because I really don't think that anything is a dupe for anything else. Each product has its own individual traits that make it what it is. That being said, I would say the formula is pretty close to the NARS Velvet Mattes. They're a little drier. They're not as creamy. This is the shade Bahama. Nope, this is the shade Dolce Vita. And my lipstick, which is in the shade Court, a little deeper. So that's the NARS and that's the Merit. I would say, as far as color goes, the Make Beauty lipstick in Equilibrium, pretty close in color, very different formula. This is a satin lipstick. It's very creamy, very shiny, and a little bit more hydrating. So if you're not into this matte texture, the Make Beauty is probably, at least in my collection, and I have far from an encyclopedic collection. I have a collection of makeup that I use for my own personal use. It's not meant to be reference as far as dupes and color comparisons go. So I'm sure there are lots of other shades out there like these. These are what I have at hand to compare it to. Overall, the 4 products that I tried from Merit, I'm really impressed with. All right, the next new thing, this has been sitting in my mini mascara drawer for well over a year, and I decided it was time to open it. This is the ILIA Limitless Lash Mascara. This is in black. It is a mini. But I have been really impressed with this. I love a mascara that feels featherweight on my lashes, and this honestly feels like nothing. Dab my eyes, they don't feel crunchy. They don't feel like they're full of gel. They just feel soft. I could compare it to the formula of the Make Beauty mascara. It's just very soft and fluffy, which I love. I do really like this brush. This brush is bonkers, but it's so good at making sure that you can get the product on, and you can also easily rake it through and make sure that you're getting it well distributed. I am very impressed. I am not in the market for a new high-end mascara right now, but if I was, this would be high on the list. I like it. Okay, we are now circling back around to a couple of reviews that I did earlier this year, and I have some thoughts. So the first one I want to talk about is the e.l.f. lip oil. I have been loving this. I have been using the ever loving bejesus out of it. It's probably cloudy. There's a fair amount of product missing. I love this doe foot. It is so nice for making sure that you get the right amount of product where you want it. Like I know that most of the product is on the tip, so if I just want a little bit, I'll go off the back or the scoop. And it's just so easy, and it's pretty, and it's thick, and it's comfortable. It's got a tiny bit of a minty smell, which I normally stay away from, but it's not plumping. I don't have any burning or tingling. It doesn't change the color of my lips. It just gives them something to sink in and hydrate. The Glow Reviver lip oil, huge fan. Huge fan. I like the Merit lip oil, but for texture and for treatment value, the e.l.f., if you're looking for something that's thinner and has a bit of color to it, I'd go with the Merit. All right, and the last product. All right, last thing I want to talk about are these Make Beauty eyeshadows. Oh my goodness. So, okay, so these eyeshadows from Make Beauty, these come in 12 shades. I just want like a little collection of all of them. They're so pretty. I originally bought Gleam. Yes, Gleam, which is this lavendery rose gold. It just says it's a rose gold on the website, but on me, it looks more lavender gray, and I don't dislike it. It's beautiful. The texture on top of the pan, you can see it's almost flaky, but that flakiness just kind of sinks in and creates this beautiful, soft, rich texture. And you don't even have to go like fully into the pan. Today, I just took a fluffy brush and I fluffed it into glaze and put that all over my lids and that on top of my bronzer and blush. Beautiful eye look. Simple, easy, non-fussy. And then I decided to use this for my highlight. And I honestly think it's gorgeous. This is a stunner. And if you're looking for something that multitasks as well as easily, like these are the, I have eyeshadow all over my hand. These are the easiest component to depot. They're designed that way, and I adore it. The other shade that I have besides Gleam is Glaze. Glaze. So I will say, for those of us with dyslexia who hear and read things and get the letters confused, we have Gleam, Blaze, and Glaze. So we have that rose gold, we have a copper, which honestly I didn't think I would like. I love it. It's gorgeous. I've been wearing it quite a bit. And glaze I have used almost every time I've done my makeup for the last couple weeks. It's just such an easy topper. It's so nice. So blaze, which I should remember because blaze, copper, fire, and glaze is like is it looks like a glazed donut. So that should be a way that I remember it. It's not. These are just some of the nicest single eyeshadows I have used in a long time. I would almost compare the texture of these as a cross between the Adept shadows, which almost have this thin glass-like texture, and the Cliona shadows, which have a thicker, richer, crushier formula. These fall right in the middle of that. And you can really go as lightly or as richly as you want. Like you can build these up. If you want your eyelids to be seen from outer space, this is gonna do it. You got Gleam, Blaze, and Glaze. I got them right. First try. I did want to discuss pricing on these. So the e.l.f. Reviver lip oil is $8. You're not going to hear any complaints from me about the packaging, none of it. It's an affordable, budget-friendly option. If you're seeing all of these beautiful lip oils coming out of luxury, this one rivals them. This one, I think in a blind testing, you wouldn't be able to tell that this is e.l.f. That's what excites me. That is what really excites me about makeup in general, but also we have this idea of luxury, we then have prestige, and now we've worked kind of indie makeup in the middle, and then we get down to stuff like ColourPop and then drugstore. So we kind of have this expanding tier of makeup. And a lot of it is going to fit into drugstore packaging, but top tier product. And for me, the packaging is not going to dissuade me from using this because I know how good it is now. Let me take a look at the Merit stuff because I got that in a bundle. Okay, so as far as pricing on all of these go, the concealer from Rituel de Fille was $20, but this is a lab sample. So they sent it out. It was still almost $30 with shipping, which I felt was a bit pricey just to get it into hands. But I was also curious because I missed the lab samples for their 3-drop foundation. I'm interested to see what they do with this going forward. I think it is a flawed product that has its use cases as is, but it does need to be reconceived. It needs to be reformulated. The ILIA mascara, this is a mini. I think I got it with a purchase. The full size of the Limitless Lash Mascara is $28, which as far as prestige mascaras go, it's right there in the ballpark. It's right there in the median with everything else. All right, Merit. I almost said make. I bought these all in a set, the Glow Getter set. That was $96. These are all together $112 in value. So the lipstick is $26. The lip oil is $24. The Flush Balm is $30. And that seems strange with as cheap as the packaging feels. That seems like this needs to come down about $8. And then the highlighter stick, $32. That's ridiculous. I feel like that is way too much for this. It's pretty, but I don't necessarily feel like it's worth its price. That being said, I'm glad I got them all together. I'm glad I got to try a nice little cross section of Merit Beauty, but they're not, I guess their products are right around the same prices as Make Beauty. They're maybe a little higher. And I don't love that. Speaking of Make Beauty, these eyeshadows are they're the multi-chromatic eyeshadows. I don't know what about these they are terming multi-chrome, but they are very shiny and they're very metallic. So I would call them like a metallic chrome instead of a multi-chrome. They don't have a shift. They don't have any other color other than the color that's presented in the pan. These are $24 with the pan and the compact. I don't know if or when Make is going to start selling refills. Their refills are usually $6 to $8 less without the compact. So if that's what you're waiting for, send Make an email because their customer service is great. I have worked with their customer service before and they are fantastic. That about does it for this round of reviews. Please let me know what you are loving down below. Let me know if you've tried any of these and what your thoughts are, because I'm always curious. I hope you are taking care of yourself so you can take care of each other, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. thunder. It's like thunder. It's like lightning. The way you love me is frightening. I haven't listened to any of my hype me up music. Just been listening to this book. Oh, I got a thunderstorm to lighten me up. I got thunder lighting me up. Forgot I have a hair tie-in and not a clip. That's different for me.